Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
All right. Great to have you with us on the show. Celtics won the championship last night. We get into your Sixers, but they're long gone. But there is a point that I think that every team is an entity unto itself as to how it's built. The Celtics are a segment of perseverance. They drafted with the third overall pick Jaylen Brown in 2016. The Lakers and the Sixers in front of them went in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted Jalen Tatum in 2017. Once again, the Lakers and the Sixers went in a different direction.
And went in a different direction.
Well, they swapped places with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Because Danny
the Celtics were going to take Tatum no matter what.
Right. So they moved back. There's been a lot of talk because of how similar the two games happen to be. I mean, there's obviously subtle differences, but in that you have to break them up. So whether it's talk shows such as this one, I never talked about breaking them up. I thought that was ridiculous. Right? But whether it's talk shows or columnists, they kept talking about how you have to break them up. This is after they kind of reached a point. They got to the finals in 22 and the Warriors beat them. All right. Okay. And Brad Stevens didn't do that. He looked around and said, these are my two core guys. They're both still young, by the way. I mean, Brown's, 27 now? Tatum's 26. They bring in a pros pro like Al Horford. Horford's second time through with the Celtics. And you listen to Tatum, I mean, he's the role model.
Absolutely.
And the and they then made the trades. So they bring Horford back after he'd gone to the Sixers, and, that didn't work. And I've always said about Al Horford, I said, now, there's a pro's pro. I've always said that. And Tatum was talking about that last night, how, hey, look, he does a great, he has meant so much to him. They then made the deals. Remember, the Milwaukee Bucks thought Damian Lillard was a better fit than Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So they dealt Holiday to Portland for Damian Lillard. And Lillard is, by his own right, a great scorer, but he's a great scorer when he's the best player. And the Celtics then dealt Malcolm Brogdon, as I've mentioned before, the same kind of guy really as Tatum and Brown in terms of his game. Everybody, has different levels of how they play it, but the same kind of player. And this is after they dealt Marcus Smart and ended up with Porzingis. They changed the team. They picked up, Brad Stevens picked up White from San Antonio.
Yeah.
Tough, hard-nosed, good defender, shoots the three, right? Holiday scores, great defender, right? And then Porzingis. Now, Porzingis in game one that's Porzingis as to how he played all season.
Yeah.
Right? But they changed the team because they suddenly went from five of the same guy to now having different parts that you had to defend. And they brought in Hauser off the bench. He played really well. Pritchard has a penchant for hitting shots at the end of a half or a quarter that are stunning. I remember looking at him at Oregon because Penn State was going to play in the NIT, was going to play the winner of Oregon Marquette. Oregon had to play at Marquette. I was like, geez, Pritchard's really good, right? Well, now you see him in the NBA. But this is a testimony to perseverance. You don't. Okay, one of the worst things that you can do is listen to and then react to outside noise.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean all of you can't have opinions. Right? I think that outside opinions and that's what makes sports fun. Everybody has opinions. Like, for example, that's an ugly shirt, but it looks good on you. That's right. Just an opinion.
That's right.
Your team is playing great, by the way. I love your team.
They are
I love watching that team play. Didn't the Red Sox beat them 2 out of 3?
They did.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, the Orioles beat them 2 out of 3, too.
Hold on a second here. What? What? What's that? Oh, the Red Sox just stole another base on the Yankees?
That's
okay,
right.
Good. Yeah, that's great.
Stole 9 plus 12 more.
And the
I think,
but if you're listening to outside noise and reacting to it, that's where mistakes are made.
Absolutely.
Hey, you've got to trust. Okay, we're living in an analytics AI world, right? In fact, I think that's not really Jason sitting there. It's just an image we put up.
That's right.
Right. That's as good as you look, man.
That's all right. All right.
That's your best look. But you're looking at, but to me, those who succeed, I mean, not just succeed, but like really succeed, have to have a belief in themselves and have to trust their own instincts. Okay? Analytics hates instincts.
Right.
Those who do analytics hate instincts because it is an area that, because they don't have instincts. They analyze data, which, by the way, is extremely useful. Okay? Analyzing data is extremely useful. But in the end, you, the human, has to make the decision as to what to do. You have to trust your eyes. Brad Stevens trusted his eyes.
Yeah.
Right? When it came to his 2 stars and then how the parts fit together. Same thing with Calvin Booth last year with Denver. Right? Did a great job. Parts fit together. Milwaukee, when they won it, Giannis, Middleton, Holiday, parts fit together. Okay? And does it mean the Celtics are going to win 2 more championships, 3, 4? Nobody knows, because every year is an entity unto itself. But this team played 101 games this year, and they won 80 of them. They were 80-21. They were 16-3 in the playoffs.
Yeah, 8-1 in the conference finals and championship.
I said in this show, Kyle asked me, well, Celtics, Mavericks. I said Celtics in 5.
Yeah, I knew it would be a quick series. I just didn't think the Mavericks were ready for the moment. I mean, Kyrie's been there before, and I get it, but I think there's a lot of guys on there. There's still a lot of young talent, still has to develop, and I just don't think they were anywhere near the level that the Celtics were. And I don't think anybody was this year.
Well,
I think Celtics were on another, really in a league of their own for much of the year.
All year long. It was either get this or nothing.
Yep.
And that is something people realize. That was, for the Celtics, that was from day one.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that would be even semi-satisfying would be to win it all. But it is... a lot of people would have succumbed to breaking those 2 up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Brad Stevens did not. He decided to show patience, perseverance, And he trusted his own instincts as to what he had. And remember, he coached these two guys. Right?
Yeah.
So because he coached these two guys, he knew what they could and couldn't do and what they needed to have around them. And they put the right combination together, and they win their 18th title. That's 6 years in a row where a different team has won the NBA title.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why when everybody talks about, well, they could do this, they could do it. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. No, because
you don't know.
Everybody's getting better.
Right.
Yeah.
But where were the injuries for the Celtics this year? Yeah, they get Porzingis.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that was it. Yep. I mean, they stayed healthy all year. That was important. Joe Mazzulla did a great job coaching them. They listened to him. And I think the most important thing about the maturity of players is when you saw last night when the game was over, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who are the, quote, 2 stars of this team, combined for 17 assists. 17 assists. In other words, because Tatum had 11 of them, Brown had 6.
Yeah.
In other words, who has the best shot to help us win the game?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to take all the shots. See, that's the problem with Dallas. Doncic, you watch the series as the series went. What has always been the negative knock on Doncic? Mm-hmm. He's a ball hog.
Ball hog, and forcing it in more ways than one. Not only the shot, but the turnovers. Turnovers completely.
He had 8 turnovers in one game.
Yep.
He went 0 for 20 at one stretch in 3-point shots. Mm-hmm. And he finally hit 2 last night.
Yeah.
But that's always been the knock on him.
Yeah.
He's going to have to grow as a player.
Yep, which he's not done.
Well,
he's not had.
I think he's better
now.
He's
better. Well, yeah, he's better now.
So I want to give him credit. He's better now.
He's also got.
But then he reverted to being the guy.
Exactly. Exactly. That's where I was going with it. He kind of reverted back to where he was. This way, exactly. I think he developed. I think he even saw in 2020, in the bubble. I thought he developed incredibly as a player, but he still had some flaws. He's not fixed those flaws yet. I think he still has them. And he's got the chance. I think he has, people get on Kyrie Irving quite a bit. He still has maturing to do too, but I do think in terms of a backcourt, he's got a great backcourt partner in Kyrie Irving there. I think they can develop together without a doubt. And for the Celtics, tying to it, and you talked about it there with just not overreacting and blowing them up, I think it ties to also, and it's sports in general, period. Don't necessarily, and the Yankees are notorious for this, they've been for as long as I've been alive, don't necessarily go for the home run every time. You don't have to, because you have a nice core. You did not have to go out and get a LeBron James or a Steph Curry or somebody else. Mm-hmm. All you had to do was build where you felt you were weak. And I thought they were weak at point. I thought Smart was a good point guard, but I didn't think he was a guy that could take him to the next level. I think Drew Holiday is as underrated as it gets. I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah. And then also, took the risk of getting rid of a guy that wasn't necessarily fully developed, wasn't necessarily attitude-wise all there in Robert Williams, and you bring in an improvement with Kristaps Porzingis.
Right.
Kansas City Chiefs are world champions. They unloaded Tyreek Hill. Did not necessarily get a home run in return. They got first-round picks. They took those first-round picks, and Brett Veach did an unbelievable job with the draft. Build a team that is going to be a world championship contender for probably the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, Brett Veach has really good instincts, as opposed to the 49ers.
Yeah, that's they're.
I'm kidding.
They have gotten better. I think they were one of those teams that I think was guilty of trying to hit the home run every time. I think they've gotten better. But it's those 2 prime examples right there. Chiefs have won 2 straight. Celtics are constant contenders, and I think a big part of that is starting at the top, not overreacting.
Now, remember, let me give you another example of perseverance. All right. And being patient.
Yeah.
All right. The Golden State Warriors were that.
Absolutely.
You go back when they get Steph Curry, they draft Klay Thompson, they draft Draymond
Green. Yep.
Right. And
bring in a winner in Iguodala.
Right.
Yeah.
But before they bring in Iguodala, they fought through some tough seasons, got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. I remember, and I was doing the show. I think I was doing it with you. And this is like, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe? No, maybe longer, maybe 11, 12 years ago. And I said on the show, I said, let me tell you, it's a fun team to watch. I said, they don't win.
Yeah.
I said, they don't win a lot of games. I said, late at night when I sit down and watch a game, I said, I like watching the Golden State Warriors because they were a fun team to watch.
Sure.
Well, then they kept that group together, and then they started winning, and then they did a good job adding in pieces. Bob Myers did a good job of adding in pieces with that team. They kept them relevant and winning. And they didn't break that team up. They didn't ship Klay Thompson off. They didn't get rid of Steph Curry. There are a lot of people who want to get rid of Draymond Green, but that's a different story. But Golden State's formula happened to be a testimony to actually perseverance as to how it was put together. And I think that's something that a lot of people, may not think of, but you got to go back to do it a little bit. And you have to the guys have to make it pay off for you. Yeah. We can talk all we want about, whether, they made this deal, that deal, the whole thing, right? And that it didn't pay off. And it doesn't always pay off.
No.
Okay? It doesn't always pay off, but it doesn't mean your instincts were wrong.
No.
Right? That's one of the great fallacies that, sometimes you make a trade or you do a pickup, and your instincts were wrong.
Yeah.
As to how it would play out.
Or you had the mentality, I can change this guy, and you don't.
Oh, that's the worst one.
Yeah, absolutely.
He comes to our culture.
Yeah.
Our culture, your culture isn't strong enough. Okay, the guy's the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Has it happened once in a while? Sure.
Sure, Randy Moss
absolutely thrived in New England and was actually, they all say, was a great teammate in New England. But you have to trust your own instincts. And you have to, it doesn't mean you don't pull aside somebody that you trust and say, for example, the consultant for the Celtics for Brad Stevens is Jeff Van Gundy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't pull aside a couple of people you trust and say, hey, look, let's talk about this. I'm thinking about doing this. What do you guys think? Right? I'm not going down, to Piccolo's Pharmacy in Watertown. Okay? My grandfather used to work there, so I can. Okay. I'm not going down to Piccolo's Pharmacy in Watertown saying, hey, what do you guys think? Should we break up Tatum and Brown?
Yeah.
Show of hands.
Yeah, exactly. You're not
20 said yes and 8 said no. Okay. Yeah. We'll pick one.
You're asking them what you think you should install at TD Garden. That's about it.
Right. You have to trust your own instincts.
Absolutely.
And I think that is such a critical part of sports, but it's also a critical part in success in life. The people who are ultra successful, besides the corrupt people,
That's right.
Right. I've always felt they were a bad example for you.
They were. They win. They get the job done, and they win. I've never lost a case. My record against the NCAAs, I'm here, they're way down there. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Other than the corrupt people in life who get themselves to the top, steamrolling through everything, through the competition. Right. All right. So I love your car because it's like, you could have a Range Rover, but you are just so unpretentious.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
But those who get someplace have an instinct about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean every move is perfect, but
your batting average is good.
But your batting average is really good because you have the ability to see things, read trends, understand trends, the whole deal that allows you to kind of be ahead of the curve. And that's in any business. And in sports, that is being a general manager. That is being a head coach.
Absolutely.
Right.
Coach. Having input as a coach.
Right.
Yep.
No, but also your ability to then make the parts fit.
Yeah. And make
Okay,
it,
let's make it fit. For example, I'm looking out there and like it's obvious that, hey, this is the 5 best guys, right? And it turns out the 5 best guys, one of them doesn't quite work well with the other 4.
Right.
So you bring the sucker off the bench. Okay?
Absolutely.
And you start somebody else because that group works better together.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? That's instinct. That's the ability to have your eyes tell you something. Okay? Now, a lot of times data will confirm that. That's fine. I am all for having as much data as possible. Always have been. Okay? It can tell a story unto itself. I remember one time doing a Penn State Michigan game when John Beilein was the coach. And this was early on, but John was always enamored with the 3. And you're looking at just pure data. Okay? They get, at this point, 48% of their points from 3. They got 43% of their points from 2. So going into the game as a broadcaster, what are you looking at here? A team that's going to shoot and attempt to get more points from 3 than they do from 2 because for the season that's what they've done. That's looking at data. Then you look at the tape and the tape confirms it. Right? Okay? Confirms that. Or you look at the tape first and then you look at the data and go, okay, yeah, that's what I saw. Or like, oh, I didn't quite see that. Because you don't know sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like the story I told about John Madden yesterday. Said, yeah, you're a left-handed team. Everybody else is right-handed. Da. Especially when he had a left-handed quarterback, right? Which meant his back. The guy is back because Kenny Stabler's left-handed. And fun guy, by the way. Yeah, he used to do Alabama games. Fun guy. But he had Hall of Fame center Jim Otto, Hall of Fame left guard Gene Upshaw, Hall of Fame left tackle Art Shell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which way would you run?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Which way would you run?
Yeah.
I'd go behind the 3 studs.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what you do. Right? What is the strength of my football team? What is the strength of my basketball team? Okay? Part of a coach's job is to maximize my strengths and do the best I can to camouflage my weaknesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think part of that, you talked about ownership and management. I think that's something good executives do. And I think Brad Stevens obviously doesn't. And, tomorrow will be a week that this man has passed. But I think Jerry West did it as good as anybody.
Jerry West was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, the Lakers, Grizzlies, and Warriors, and then Clippers. But I think that's the one big thing. And I think as a team, I never underestimate, and the Celtics obviously get this, is the praise for Al Horford is a prime example. Never underestimate getting a veteran or 2, at least, in there, because it's going to make the locker room a lot better 9 times out of 10. Unless that veteran is 48 years old and stubborn and wants to be the star, which there were plenty that were that way.
How old are you?
Not that old yet, but that's I think when as long as they are willing to take that secondary role, which most are, if they want to play in the league, they're going to take that secondary role and mentor you. I don't think there's any question that your team is going to be a lot better. Celtics were a lot better with Horford. They were even better with Drew Holiday. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes the Sixers made, and they weren't going anywhere at that time. I get it, but you unload Drew Holiday, you bring in Nerlens Noel, and in the draft Nerlens Noel, Mavs move over, take him. Not a move that they made that I was very enamored with when it happened, and I'm certainly not now. And for me specifically, I'm looking at Holiday. I think that's a prime example of a veteran. Now, you use the Bulls as an example. They brought Scottie Pippen back. Scottie Pippen. He's one of those guys that is the same type of player. You're never going to change his attitude. And he obviously didn't make that team any better for that reason. You bring John Paxson in, an executive role, he makes that team a playoff team. Steve Kerr, same thing. There's a lot of differences with veterans, and I would say 85 to 90% of the time you're going to not necessarily hit a home run, but you will improve your team when you bring in veteran leadership, either at executive level or on your team.
Well, if I'm going to bring in a veteran, it's got to be the kind of veteran that is hungry,
desire to still play,
and
desire to take a back seat,
right? Because they just want to win.
They want to win, exactly.
Right. I believe when the Lakers won in the bubble, Dwight Howard, right?
Dwight Howard,
played really well.
Gary Payton in Miami to Dwayne Wade,
right?
Yeah,
so that was really important.
Yeah. Jason Kidd in Dallas, another example. When Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, by the way, can I say one quick note about Jason Kidd, who did a great job with Dallas, by the way.
Exceptional.
Right. Great job. Okay.
He thrived anywhere he went as a player. I thought he was incredible as a player.
But in the press conference where he's talking about Jaylen Brown being the Celtics' best player, where he's trying to get under Jason Tatum's skin.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he's trying to do.
Sure.
It's a psychological deal. Okay, I got it. Okay. Nobody asked a follow-up question. And you want to know what the follow-up question is? Where, I'm sitting there going, how come nobody's asking this? I mean, all you got to do is watch the game. If Tatum is not the best player, why are you tilting your entire defense toward Tatum?
Yeah.
Watch. The whole defense is tilted toward Tatum. Nobody asked Jason Kidd that question.
No. Yep.
Everything's about personalities. Talk about the game. He makes a statement like that. You look at it. I would have asked him. I said, well, then why are you tilting your entire defense toward Tatum if Tatum's not as big a threat in your mind?
Yeah. And never be afraid to ask what do you mean by that either. That's what I remember. You go back to.
I would have told him what I saw.
No, and it's really where I go back to Barry Bonds obviously is at the height of his career. Yeah, he's in the era where he's obviously being accused of performance enhancers. He has the 73 home runs, and I still remember talking about where he stands, yada yada yada, and the next one is, well, Barry Bonds is too arrogant to be at this level of top whatever. What do you mean by that? Never be afraid to say, hey, what exactly do you mean by that?
Right.
That's not, because that's a spot where, number one, I'm judging, and this is another common mistake to me that I'm on the outside looking in and I see all the time. And I see it especially when it comes to Hall of Fame voting. People judge what the person does off the field or off the court more than they do on the field and on the court. And it should be the exact opposite. It really should.
Peter King has talked to me about that.
Yeah.
And Peter, of course, for years, decades, Hall of Fame voter. Decades. And he said that he does everything he can to completely separate off field.
Which I think you have.
He said you only have to look at on field.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes it's hard to separate that because somebody has a reputation.
Yeah. And if that reputation affected the person doing the voting, if he was a jerk to them or him or her, absolutely, that's going to affect the voting. But as tough as it is, I think that you have to separate them. I fully agree. I think when you judge what these people do on the field and on the court only, or on the ice, no doubt about it. There's a lot of guys I would probably put in the Hall of Fame that are not there right now. And, they're judged based on what they did outside. Now, what Roberto Alomar did on the field was an inexcusable act. Absolutely.
That's right.
There's no way he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's the best second baseman I ever saw play from the late 80s on.
He's better than Horace Clarke?
A little better than Horace Clarke. Yeah, just a little bit. A little bit better than Horace Clarke. A little bit better than Chuck Knobloch throwing the ball. But absolutely, you can't look at that Blue Jays team that won 2 championships and tell me he wasn't one of the centerpieces. You can't look at
that's right.
How much better he made the Orioles when he went there. That absolutely incredible player. No way should he have not been a first ballot Hall of Famer. He wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer because of what he did there, and I understand it, but you just can't do it. You can't vote that way. And I use the example of Terrell Owens. Yeah, Owens had his flaws. I never saw a guy run after the catch not named Jerry Rice that was better than Terrell Owens.
Yeah, but the problem with Owens,
he had drops.
It way too many drops.
Absolutely.
I mean, he consistently was leading the league in drops. That was a big problem because you cannot run after the catch if you don't have the ball in your hands.
Yep. But that's true. And people got on Eddie Murray. Same thing. Oh, he's terrible to the media. That doesn't matter. When I'm voting for the Hall of Fame, and I don't have a vote, when I'm voting for the Hall of Fame, I'm looking at the fact he had 3,000 hits and 500 home runs, and to my
That's
knowledge...
only because you've been asked by every Hall of Fame to vote. You turn it down because you just don't want him. Yeah.
A lot of guys I'd vote for, they'd be waving their nose at me.
All right, who would you vote for?
Well, number one,
give me somebody you would vote for that they're not voting for.
I'd have put Dale Murphy in a long time before Dale Murphy was in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
I'd have put Fred McGriff in the Hall of Fame a long time before he was in the Hall of Fame.
I agree with that.
No question on the two of those. And yes, I understand the performance enhancers. I'm voting Barry Bonds. There is no way I saw 10 baseball players, non-pitchers, that were better than Barry Bonds in my lifetime. I did. And that's one guy I'm voting. I'm voting Roger Clemens. And then there are a lot of people that are saying these guys cheated, they don't deserve the vote. If that's your attitude, that's fine. But don't tell me what they did on the field does not get them in the Hall of Fame. No way.
I think that would I vote for Barry Bonds?
I would.
Yes.
No question.
Would I vote for Roger Clemens?
Yes. I would.
Yes.
There are other guys that are linked that I probably would not. I'm not sure I'd vote for Mark McGwire. I think McGwire,
not enough.
I don't think Sosa. I'd vote for Sosa.
And Sosa has hit. He's the only person in the history of baseball that had 60 or more home runs in a season 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to know what's interesting about that? Not once did he ever lead the league in home runs.
Yeah. You're right. Not once did he lead the league. And that's, there's guys I would not vote for. There are a couple of them right there. I'll tell you, and this guy takes a bad rap, and look, he's failed test twice. So that's ultimately gets you suspended for the year. Alex Rodriguez is a guy that, to me, I think you look at him.
Nope.
Alex and Manny both, I think, are guys that, it's hard to vote for him because of obviously because of the 2 failed tests and proven failed tests. So that's where the problem lies.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is I couldn't do it. I don't care what his numbers
say. It's hard
say.
to do it. Yeah. The only thing worries me and concerns me, I would not be shocked if there is someone in the Hall of Fame right now that has took performance enhancers.
Oh,
that Oakland A's team in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s has some Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
I'm not at all saying they're Jew. I'm not at all saying that Ricky Henderson and Dennis Eckersley were helped out in any way. But I'm saying they were on that team. There's always the chance. So I think that's the concern.
Sal Bando. No, I'm just kidding.
And the other thing I think that sometimes gets very, very overlooked, there are probably 12,000 baseball players that failed steroid tests. You know the difference is? They didn't have the Hall of Fame talent. Steroids don't make the baseball player. Do they enhance you?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, first of all, all right, but people.
I think there's
I can't stomach
in a lot of ways.
I can't stomach narratives because in the end, a lot of narratives are actually incorrect.
Completely.
So let's give you a Mark McGwire narrative.
Yeah.
Okay. He's on steroids. He was on Andro. The whole thing was right there in the locker. You want to know why it was right there in the locker? Because in 1998, it was not a banned substance.
Yeah, wasn't illegal.
Right? Okay. That's called telling the truth.
Yeah.
That's called telling the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, he's on roid. Excuse me, over here in the back. That's actually not on the ban list.
That's not on the ban list. Nope.
Right? That's called telling the truth. Now, is it a more sensationalistic story? I'm not here to defend Mark McGwire.
No, I'm not either.
Right.
But you're absolutely right.
He should not be in the Hall of Fame. I already said that.
No, I don't think
right.
I don't think anybody else in that A's team should be in the Hall of Fame.
But I'm sorry, it's not a banned substance.
Nope. No.
Okay? The first series of drug tests that came out, somebody leaked it.
Yep.
Right? And it was only supposed to be as an experimental deal. Right? That should never factor in.
No.
Right?
Nope.
Like, I'll give you one. David Ortiz is on that list. He's one of the 100 guys on the list.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many times David Ortiz got tested after that? Over and over and over and over again, to the point he said, I can't believe how many times I get tested.
Yep.
Well, he kept passing them. Why?
Yeah.
Because maybe he's just that good.
Right? That's the one thing that drives me nuts. And these players had talent.
But again, tell the truth.
100%.
Right? Narratives.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, the narrative part is something that bothers me.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's really, really to me, it's come to the front with everything that happened around here. Narratives.
100%.
And
opinions concluded based on no facts.
So, all right, I'll give you one. Women's basketball is on its greatest roll ever.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Ever. Highest ratings in the Final Four. WNBA ratings are up.
Huge.
Attendance is up. Everything. Great roll. Okay? Wow. They must be doing great financially. Okay? No. Right? You want to know why? I mean, whatever the reasons happen to be, part of it is probably the extensive, how extensive the TV contract is. But the NCAA Women's Tournament, for all its great success, still lost more money than all the other championships the NCAA has combined. Right? That's not a bold statement. That's just a fact. Okay? That's what I have been told repeatedly by people I know in Indianapolis. Right? Privately.
Yeah.
Okay? WNBA. You want to know what okay? WNBA. Well, it's their greatest season. Oh, well, they must be raking in the cash with all these great crowds, the whole thing. TV. You want to know what they're losing? Take a guess.
Yeah.
Take a guess. How much do you think they're losing?
They're in the millions. Yeah, there's no doubt.
$50 million.
Absolutely.
They're in the red. 50 this year.
This year alone.
Not cumulative. No. It's this year. They're down $50 million. Right? If it wasn't for the NBA floating them money, and I know the NBA is like a 40% stake in them.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's keeping them alive. That's why when you hear, we want charters, we want this, hey, you're not making money.
Nope.
We need higher salaries. We need charters. Okay, I understand all that.
Totally.
But, you get some point.
Yeah.
Right? The whole product has to stand on its own 2 feet so you can get all that stuff.
Yeah. And the other part of it.
Nobody talks about that. No, I mean, that's what gets me about. It's not a great narrative. Oh, no. It's like, Angel Reese said this, and Caitlin Clark got knocked to the floor for that. You're like going, okay, that's fine. But, and then and it's a disgrace that we don't charter. Well, you know what? I wish you were chartering too.
Yeah.
Okay? And you probably should be chartering. I understand that. You probably should be. It probably would make the product even better. But it's also expensive to charter.
Yeah.
You're losing $50 million.
Completely.
Okay? Yeah. This year, not cumulative. It's not since the league started they've lost $50 million. It's this year.
Yep.
Right? There's no common sense in the narratives. And again, should they be chartering? Yeah, I think they should be. As a professional league, you should be chartering. Right? Because if you're expected to play all these games in a row, and Indiana's a good example. They've put the schedule together in such a way where it's just TV, which means they got to play almost every single day. I get that part, but people complaining about it say there is an economic reality to it too.
Sure,
right? Sometimes you have to. What's the best way to run the business? Now, I think the best way to run the business is they should charter. But again, that's more expenses. So I don't know. But I'm saying, but nobody talks about this stuff. Everybody puts their head in the sand and they think that, oh my goodness, they're raking in the dough. They are not raking in the dough. They are losing money hand over fist. They're losing $1 million a week.
And even and even the opposite part of that, when an athlete signs a big contract, well, such and such is overpaid. You're not factoring everything in there. LeBron James signs with let's say a team that has absolutely no draw whatsoever right now. Signs with, pick any team that is at the very bottom, Charlotte Hornets.
All right.
How many jerseys is LeBron James selling? How many how many butts is he putting in seats? How many shoes is he selling? That all goes into the contract.
Well,
that's not a part of, now granted, yes, he gets money from Nike. He gets the shoe deal with Nike, but that all goes into an owner signing that player.
Well,
it's not.
It does. And remember the last NBA lockout?
Yeah.
Okay. They said at that point, now this is the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
The last NBA lockout, they said there were only 8 teams making money.
Yeah.
8 teams making money.
A lot more now.
Now, I'll say this about the Art Modell move from Cleveland. I'm losing money in Cleveland. Whoa. All right, hold on a second. All right. You must really be bad at managing money. Awful. It's an NFL team.
Awful. It's an NFL team. NFL teams make money. I don't care who it is. Well, I did see, they had, they're making plenty of money, obviously, on streaming, and even though it's not where it should be in any way, and I think they're pushing it down our throats, but I did see the proposals several times on Sunday Ticket where, hey, let's put single team deals out there. Let's lower the price so we can get more subscriptions. They've rejected all the above, and that's their prerogative.
Because the NBA contract is, TNT is going to make a bid for the Amazon.
Yeah.
They claim that this is their right of first refusal, is what they're claiming on the Amazon contract. It's one thing that makes it attractive to the NBC part because it brings both Peacock and so they get streaming out of it no matter what.
Yeah. They've already said they're going to have probably 50 to 60 games on Peacock.
Yeah. So that's what, I think that the streaming part is going to be interesting moving forward because there's still 70 to 80 million households, or actually about 80 to 90 million households that have cable.
Yeah.
Right? Not a small group.
No.
It is interesting that you have seen the it's interesting that you have seen the trend slightly go back. And look what both the Big Ten and to a point the NFL did. The NFL stuck with NBC. Now they're mixing in the Peacock stuff. They're going to mix in Netflix. They got Amazon, but they stuck with CBS. They stuck with Fox. They stuck with ESPN, ABC.
Yep.
They stuck with NBC. The Big Ten went with Fox, CBS, NBC, and, of course, their own cable network, BTN. Okay. Because remember, Fox doesn't do streaming.
Right.
I think Fox News does. I think they have something called Fox Nation or something like that.
Fox has like Fox Go, where the game that is actually on is, but they're not a streaming only.
Right, they're not a streaming only operation. Yep. They're just not. And CBS hooked in with Paramount Plus to do some of that. But not every deal has been. And this is like, let me give you an example. The Big 12 is bragging about how great their contract is. It's probably the best contract they could get. All right?
Yeah.
How many games are on ESPN Plus? Okay. I'm not going to watch them.
No. No,
I have never watched a single thing on ESPN Plus.
Same.
Never. Nothing on there that's intriguing. All right. It's the way it is. I mean, I'm just saying, no. And the streaming part to me is a great supplement.
Yeah.
So let's take, for example, Penn State played Michigan State on Black Friday night in Detroit. That game was on NBC, and it's streamed on Peacock. Perfect. That's how it should be done. Anybody with over-the-air NBC could watch the game, right? People who love streaming could have streamed it on Peacock, same game, same broadcast. To me, that's how streaming should work. It should be working as a supplement to your To me, the most important part, if I am a league, how do I get the most eyeballs to watch my product? The NFL can brag all it wants about 23 million people streaming Peacock to watch the Dolphins and the Chiefs.
That's a third of what they would have got.
Why was it the lowest rated? Why did it have the least viewership of any playoff game?
Yep.
Right? Other playoff games had like 38, 39, 40 million.
Yep.
You lost 15 to 17 million potential
At least,
viewers?
if not more. I think
potential viewers? I mean, it's a Saturday night.
And you have Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Saturday night.
There's no question.
But it was also cold across the country. It was cold that night. It was below zero in Kansas City.
Yep.
Right? And you lost 15 to maybe 25 million viewers.
Yeah.
You could have had as many as 45, 48 million viewers on a Saturday night watching Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, an exciting Dolphins team.
Yeah.
All right, with Tua and the whole gang, right? Tyreek Hill. So you sacrificed, as a business, 15 to conservatively 25 million viewers to prove a point?
Yeah. To prove a point and to have a feeling of, hey, we're the NFL, we're invincible. Everybody's going to do what we say. And I think that was really part of it. Instead of putting, you have a streaming-only game, it's a no-brainer. Nothing against the Browns, nothing against the Texans, two exciting up-and-coming teams. You put that game on Peacock. And you put your showcase matchup on national television and on streaming if you have to.
Of course.
And that's why... And it was just another prime example of the NFL doing its best to say, hey, we're going to make you subscribe.
Well, it's
and guess what?
It's going to be the same thing on Christmas Day with Netflix.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody said, hey, we have other things we can do.
That is going to be a game time decision.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff moving over to good old Netflix that.
Well, that's going to be a game time decision. It's going to be one of those things. First of all, it's later in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? A lot of people do things Christmas Eve.
A lot of people do things Christmas Eve.
Christmas morning.
There's other alternatives Christmas Day.
And now you're sitting there like, okay. And the Steelers happen to be one of the teams. Okay.
Steelers and Chiefs. That helps.
Right, that helps a lot. You know, of course, those are the two teams playing, they would have played the Saturday before. See, that's the part where I just sit back. How do you
Why don't you just
possibly
put them on Thursday night? Even though you're going to chip them the previous week, put them on Thursday night. Like that.
I know.
That's terrible.
I know.
It drives me nuts when these leagues
the feeder system for the product you have.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is walking in already an established name with star potential because he played college football and everybody watched him play college football. They're going to go head to head with the college football playoff on that Saturday just so they can have, and they were going to go head to head anyway. It didn't matter if they were Wednesday games.
Yeah. But it's also where
they don't care.
No, they don't care. They don't care one bit. And it's where, I always go back to the pandemic, and obviously it was a horrible, horrible situation. And really,
it's the first time you've ever recognized that.
That's
it's something that just
But
Can't-
prime
can't.
example. Prime example being, they were going to initially.
You just realized?
Yeah. Prime example being, the Big Ten was going to punt the season to the spring.
I was disgusted.
So was I. Where you were going to sit there, and if that was going to happen, and look, if the players wanted to play, it doesn't matter when they play. But here's what you were potentially going to do: have a spring season, end it in June, give the players maybe a month off, get them right back into camp, get them right back in practicing. But you have complete concern for the safety of the players, but you're going to do that? You have complete concern of the NFL for the safety of the players.
Well, remember what my deal was at that time? This is before they made the announcement.
Yeah.
I said, simple. They said, the NFL is going to play a couple preseason games.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, let them play it. See what happens.
Yeah.
All right. And it turned out they played the preseason games.
They played it fine.
Nothing happened.
No.
At that point, you're like, okay, it's go time.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what it should have been. Go time.
Absolutely.
All right? Instead of we're going to play in the spring. You're going to play in the spring.
Yeah, you're going to play in the spring. You're going to give the guys a month off at most.
And every single coach that I talked to that had spring teams.
Yeah.
Erica, Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
Russ.
Yeah.
Right. Char.
Yeah.
Said it was a miserable experience because you're playing in one calendar year.
You're trying to get two, exactly.
You're trying to do 2 seasons in one calendar year. It was a miserable experience.
It's a miserable experience to not only plan that, but the other part of it is the safety issue. And then there's no way an NFL body can play Saturday and then be right back at it on Wednesday. There's no. Like, don't sit there and say to me, oh, we have tremendous concern about concussions and CTE and everything else, and then you're going to sit there and do that. There is no way you care more about that than you do what goes into your pockets.
So let me ask you something. The 49ers.
Yeah.
This is under 49 good San Francisco seconds. The 49ers are named after the gold rush of 1849. Correct?
Right.
Why did they have silver helmets?
That's right.
For a long time. I'm asking you. You're the expert on this team.
I do not know that answer, but that's a good question. That's a good question.
Why did they have silver helmets? Yeah.
Silver helmets for so long. Yeah. Then they finally went gold. Why did they change their pants to white pants in like the 95, 96 year? It's terrible.
Does anybody in your organization have any idea what to do?
Not since Eddie DeBartolo exited.
Oh.
Now, John and Kyle do a great job, obviously.
Brutal. I'm just asking for a friend. Why?
Yeah. Good.
Did they wear silver helmets? I mean, does anybody understand the lineage of the name?
That's true.
In your own franchise.
In their own franchise, yep.
Well, I got to give you credit on this one. And you deserve a lot of credit for this one. Big heat wave. So people are keeping their movement down to a minimum.
Yeah.
I have to give you credit. You've been a trendsetter. Doesn't matter what the weather.
That's right.
You don't move a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, talk about a guy that sets an example for all of us.
That's right. That's right. Especially on Saturdays and Sundays. It's tough. It's tough when you have those games, those all-day game days. Well, the worst part about it, all-day game days, and this is not me bragging. This is me saying we probably put on 5 pounds in the fall. This is the worst. This is where you have the all-day game day, and then you're also hitting a buffet. So you're getting 2 for the price of 1, where you're not moving around much. You're also not moving around much when the day is over, and you go home and you're all right. Let's sit and watch a game, and I'm out cold 5 minutes into the game.
Just brutal. Brutal.
That's why those primetime kicks are not fun when you get older.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, there are a lot of students right now saying, "Are you nuts? No, believe me, when you get older, you're going to feel the same way. I promise.
Yeah. By the way, the Spikes play Williamsport tonight, tomorrow. There'll be plenty of water in the ballpark and everything. And not only that, but the way the ballpark is configured, the vast majority of the seats are in the shade, which is nice. So, hey, come on out, have a good time. Look, it's baseball weather.
Great experience there. Every time you go, it's a great experience there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's
get the deer bat with your favorite beverage, and I say that not only
just
you can get a soda with it. It's a cool item to have. I'm telling you, very cool to have.
What bothers me is you got 42 of them.
No, not quite. Gave 41 of them away. Well, they've added home plate this year, so now you can stand that bat right on home plate.
Explain that?
They've added a home plate stand now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, so you put that bat right on home plate now.
Well, it's also Taco Tuesday.
It is. That's right.
Go down to Salsa.
That's right.
Everybody knows I love going down to Salsa.
That's right.
And it's you'll be able to get walking tacos tonight, which is great. And there's nothing like watching you get a deer bat and then watching you attempt to walk down to.
That's right.
It's always entertaining. Hey, Joe, check that out. I think Jason's going down to get something to eat.
Making the honest attempt without going out and being told to leave the ballpark.
Not exactly America's straightest line. My goodness, it looks like he's weaving in traffic at rush hour. What the?
Oh, I've seen some people sober weave through traffic at rush hour that I have no idea what they're doing.
Oh, God. You know the ones that drive me nuts are the ones that go on the shoulder.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I was on the Schuylkill Expressway going down to Philadelphia
all the time
for the NIL event back in May.
All the time.
Yeah, I'm just sitting I'm just sitting there. And, it's the Schuylkill, so you expect it. I built in the time. I was on time. And all of a sudden, there must have been 8 to a dozen cars down the shoulder. I'm going, yo.
The worst was, and this is going to show our age a little bit, when they didn't have easy pass in that turnpike four-lane stretch, and people would just I'm like, what are you doing? Just stay in your lane. We're all paying cash here. Stay in your lane.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've seen it way too many times in that stretch.
Well, it's interesting. This is totally off topic here, but we still have toll booths in this state.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places I've gone to
that have gone without them. Yeah.
They've taken the toll booths down.
Yep.
Am I missing something here?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, they tried for how long now to toll
80.
80 on the exit here. Yeah.
80. No.
Thankfully, have not succeeded.
Well, now I think they're going to start construction on the flyover to 99.
I believe so. Yep.
About time, man.
Yep. No doubt.
About time.
No doubt.
Your tax dollars at work.
That's right. Finally.
Yesterday I was kidding around. I went over basketball practice. Zach Hicks was out there shooting, and they had 5 of the managers, grad assistants, everybody underneath shagging balls. I go, 5 of you? So I feel like I'm watching a road project. What's going on here? This is only one guy shooting the ball. So at least Clay's passing him. It's just like, so what are you guys doing? So you punched in the time card? You had to be here? Or what? And Zach's put on some. I saw Puff Johnson yesterday too. They both look like they put on some muscle and looks good. I mean, because in this league you have to have that. You have to have
absolutely.
In the Big Ten, you have to have really good wings that can shoot it, but you also athletic wings that can shoot it. But you also have to have a little definition to you because you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to bang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Inside. Well, this was trying to think. It was a fun experience. Yeah, sure.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. Now tomorrow we'll have interviews. Tomorrow we'll have Tim Kirchin, Scott Lauber from the Phillies. We're going to talk about the Phillies' great run, even though they can't beat the Red Sox or the Orioles.
Oh, the Orioles, no.
Right. But we'll talk to him about it.
All right.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to ask him about umpiring at one point. Because Juneteenth tomorrow, so
that's right.
We'll have some interviews.
All right.
It was a pleasure joining you on the